Yo, what's going on YouTube? Jake Cameo from CoreGaming, and today, as promised, we are going to talk about Lair of Darkness. Alright, so I'm super excited to get into this deck profile. As you guys know, this is one of my top favorite decks to make, to update, to anything with. I love this deck so much, and I want this deck to do well in the current meta. In any meta, I want this deck to do well. So I've tried my best, and I think I've come up with a great solution for the 2020 January ban list. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into this. You guys have seen most of these cards before, so I won't take too much time with these cards, but I will go ahead and go through these cards with you guys. So we run 3 Diablos, we run 3 Arima, and we run 3 Lilith, the Lair of Darkness package, if you will. We run 3 of each of those because they are all good and they all run very, very great with each other. So I do not see that changing anytime soon. I love running those cards at 3. I love seeing every one of those cards as much as possible. So then, these are actually, the next card here is actually what I've been waiting on for you guys. This is why it's taken so long to get the January 2020 ban list edition out after they dropped it on us on our last video. So we were waiting on these 3 cards here. Danger Bigfoot. We run 3 of Danger Bigfoot because this is now our engage. This is our draw power, pretty much. We actually got these 3 copies from Simply Unlucky, so thank you guys, and definitely give a shout out to, that's definitely a shout out to Simply Unlucky. Definitely go check out his profile and his channel. He's been doing Yu-Gi-Oh! For far longer than we have, and he's amazing. I'm sure you guys already know who he is, so definitely thank him for getting us this. But what this is going to do is you reveal this card, and then your opponent chooses a card in your hand. Then if they discard this card, you get to pop one of their monsters, or it might be just one of their cards. Target one face-up card your opponent controls. So you get to pop up any face-up card. You get to pop any face-up card with this card if they target him. If they do not target him, to go to the graveyard, most of the time you're probably going to want it to be your Diablos, which plays really well with the rest of the deck. So if you discard your Diablos, it doesn't matter. So that's the best part about this. So you're going to discard, if you discard something other than Danger Bigfoot, then you're going to special summon Danger Bigfoot, have a 3000 dark monster on board, and draw a card. So it's absolutely necessary now that they've attacked our engage that we were playing before. So, and then we still run the 1 Malefic Stardust Dragon because he's 2500 dark monster and he protects your field spell. So, and then we're still running the double Sky Striker Ace Ray, the small Sky Striker package. It's still very good in this deck, and I will show you guys why later on. But other than the fact that it can just play itself and tribute itself, and then you can get Diablos back from your grave anytime you want, pretty much, or from the hand. That's how Diablos works. Then we play 2 Tour Guide now, baby. 2 Tour Guide. They did not know that they hit our engage, but they gave us Tour Guide. So that definitely turbos into our Lilith and trap cards a lot faster. So yeah. So we're going to do 2 of the Tour Guide. And then to round off the monsters, we are doing 2 Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode. Mainly because spirals are coming back, and spirals are definitely a thing. They are a force to be reckoned with. They are taking over the meta, and you definitely want some coverage for those guys. So you definitely want to run 2, possibly 3 Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode. So now we're going to go on into our spells. We run 3, 4, and still 7, counting the Arima, copies of Lair of Darkness, because Lair of Darkness is going to get this deck running to its maximum potential. You always want to see Lair of Darkness, so that's why we run technically 7 copies of Lair of Darkness. Because if anyone's unaware, the Arima can ditch himself to the graveyard from your hand to go and get your field spell. So Then we run 3 Allure of Darkness because we run nothing but darkness other than the Winged Dragon Raw Spear mode. But that's perfectly fine. We run plenty of dark monsters. Then we run 1 the Melody of Awakening Dragon to go ahead and get our Diablos to our hand as fast as possible. And if you can the card that you discard for this, if you discard Diablos, that kind of plays into a whole recycling ability that you can use between the 2 Diablos. So I find that pretty fun. And then some I guess I wouldn't say spicy tech, but it's actually a lot better than I thought it would be. So then we play 1 Advanced Draw, just because when we do have Lair of Darkness on the field, we can tribute our opponent's level 8 or higher monster, and then we can draw 2 cards for free. It's absolutely nuts. Like, they have a big problem monster on board, boom, you tribute it, and you get 2 free cards. It's crazy. I love it. And then we play 3 Called by the Graves. So Called by the Graves is definitely a thing. You don't want to get ashed by anything and get your Lair of Darkness not to your hand, because you always want your Lair of Darkness in your hand. You always want to be going off in combos and things like that, and you will do some searching for that. So definitely want 3 Called by the Graves. And then we're going to run 2 Super Poly. Super Poly is just an all-around great card. Everyone knows what Super Poly does. You fusion summon monsters, and then every card with Lair of the Darkness on the field is going to be dark, so you just use all those dark monsters and Super Poly. And then we're still playing the 1 enemy controller, just because that is still hilarious and still a very good play to be able to tribute one of your opponent's monsters, to take one of your opponent's monsters to possibly tribute or something like that with one of your traps or anything like that, or even go into a link monster with it. It's absolutely nuts, and I love it. And then we still run the 1 Sky Striker Hornet, because this is a token that is a level 1 monster. So, with that being said, we can go into our Ray, tribute it, get the, what's it called? The Shizuku, tribute the Ray, go into the Shizuku, get the Hornet drones, then we can go into Link Kuriboh to basically be our honest for the match. And it's just absolutely nuts, because Link Kuriboh tributes himself, and it's crazy. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Then we run 3 Epidemic Virus, Eradicator Epidemic Virus. It's just the best card. Cut off all your opponent's spells, cut off their traps. They can't do anything. They're running off monster effect alone. It's crazy. Then we run 2 Deck Devi. 2 Deck Devi Virus. It's just good. I mean, then we also run 2 of the Crush card. We're cutting off our opponent's monsters. We're getting to the Epidemic Virus to cut off their spell or traps, and then we're cutting off their monsters as well. So that's what this deck does. It cuts off your opponent's monsters. You tribute them, you cut them off, they just can't play the game. And so that is the main deck. Now going off into the extra deck, we run the 1 Starving Venom still. You can definitely run that at 2. You can run different Protoplanets, doesn't really matter. I just really like the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon myself. I'm a big fan of that. So then we run the 1 Stardust Dragon for the Malefic Stardust Dragon. The 1 Phantom Knight of Breaksword, because you can easily go into Tour Guide with Lilith, and then go into this guy, and then get your bigger traps like the Deck Devi. Then we run the Abyss Dweller, which is still a little difficult to go into, so if you can't go into that, we still run the 1 Sky Prison. But they have similar abilities, things like that. So, and then getting into the Link monsters, we have a hefty Link monster lineup. We have the Link Kuriboh, like I was talking about. You can go into your Hornet drones and then go into Link Kuriboh. And then Link Kuriboh can tribute itself, and not only can it tribute itself, it can make an opponent's monster's attack 0. So this is basically your honest for the game. And I'm a big fan of honest. You guys have obviously seen a lot of honest and are not done seeing honest. Spoilers, there is an updated ABC profile coming up with 0 Ojama. So I know, strange, right? Ojama without ABC? What? ABC without Ojama, that's crazy. But trust me, you'll love it. Then we run the one Shizuku and then the one Kagari. They're both very good. It's hard not to run one or the other, especially because this can hunt Hornet drones out for you. So, then we run the one Beat Cop. Beat Cop is just absolutely amazing in this deck. It's made for this deck. I absolutely love Beat Cop. Beat Cop is also going to be in the upcoming deck profile for the ABCs, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Then we run the one Barricade Board Blocker. He's just an all-around great field spell protector, things like that. So, and he's a 1000 Dark Monster. Then we run the Decode Talker. Decode Talker, he tributes, he can get up to big numbers. There's just no downside to this card really in this deck. We run the one Nightmare Unicorn. Also a Dark Monster above 2000. Pops cards from the field, super good. I mean, a lot of these cards are just super good cards. And then we still run the Flash Charge Dragon. I love playing this card because it can tribute cards and it can also make your opponent pay life points to play cards, which is super funny and super cool. It is also a Dark Monster above 2000, so that's 2 of your traps right there, or at least 1 of your traps. And then we have the Topologic Trespania and the Boral Sword Dragon. They're also just big boss monsters. I mean, there's not too much to say about these guys. You guys have seen these guys long before this profile, so. Now going into the side deck. Now, this is where things have changed up a little bit as well. With the arrival of Spirals, we have definitely inserted the Spiral Double Helix. Spiral Double Helix is going to be the card to go against Spirals. It's going to be your way to kind of slow them down. It's probably not going to stop them completely, but it will slow them down. So then we have the Galatea, the Altergeist Hextia, and if you guys aren't aware of what I'm talking about with some of these cards and how these cards make sense in the extra deck, then, or not the extra deck, the side deck, sorry, then that will come apparent soon enough. These are just some of the decks that I foresee, and this can definitely be Fluffle instead of Invoked, because Fluffles will probably make an appearance pretty soon as well. So these cards are what I foresee in the coming days, at least until April, where Fluffle is going to come out and all kinds of crazy stuff. But I definitely see these guys being the kind of puzzle pieces you want to get to hinder your opponent. So, and then with that, we play 3 Nibiru and 3 Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. So Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries is the main reason why you play all of these cards, because you're going to want this on board, or you're going to want this in your hand, and you're going to want this in your hand. You're either going to want to use the Nibiru or the Ghost Reaper, preferably Ghost Reaper early game so they don't start their combos. You definitely want to see this in your hand turn 1. That way you can go ahead and pop it and slow their combos down, or just stop them completely depending on the deck. So that's that. And the Nibiru is there for just in case you can't get to Winter Cherries, then you can go ahead and just slaughter their board. And then tribute their monster, their token that they have on the other side of the field. It's beautiful. And then because we run the Bigfoot, we also run the 1 Chupacabra, just because Chupacabra is really good and he can recycle your Bigfoot so that you can use your Epidemic Virus. Then we run the 1 Sengun. Sengun's just really good because he can pair well with the 2 Tour Guide. And then we run another copy of Crush Card, and just in case we're not seeing our cards enough, we run the 1 Card of Demise. It's not super great. I wish there was better draw power out there, just Konami hates draw power, so that's that. And that's going to be the profile. Alright, so that's going to be the deck profile for the Lair of Darkness January 2020 ban list update, post ban list, whatever you want to call it. That's going to be the deck. This deck is the bee's knees when it comes to the present right now in the meta. There is a lot of spirals, there is a lot of this stuff that this deck can combat. The draw power isn't the greatest, but it does do its job. It does work. And I promise you guys, if you guys test this out, if you guys try this enough, you guys can see what I mean and understand why I love this deck so much. The Lair of Darkness deck is borderline unfair. It's like Babel without being too overpowered. So it's just crazy. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. I really love this deck. I hope you guys really love this deck. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. If you guys would change anything or twist anything around, mix with ratios, whatever. If you guys end up playing this deck and doing well in locals, regionals, anything like that, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear that because I love this deck and I want this deck to do great things. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, hit that like button down below so that you can join the Ojama family, and then we can also be closer together in the Discord community and things like that with only $1 to our Patreon. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.